Once you find yourself in conflict with a narcissist, it's a virtual guarantee they're going to start playing head games with you. That's why I put together a new course. It's very extensive called Anger Games. I'm going to teach you how to manage anger and conflict with a narcissist. There's a link below that's going to show you how to register, and I hope that you find it to be very insightful. When you've been in any form of strain or tension or conflict with a narcissistic individual, how many times have you thought to yourself, I can't win with this person? I mean, no matter how hard I try, we're not going to be on the same page. We can't even have an adult conversation, and instead, it just quickly becomes a competition for the one-up position. How many times have you thought that way? One of the things that we know about narcissism and those who are just stuck in that pattern is they have this need to be competitive with you. And so when especially when conflicts arise and differences arise, they must pronounce themselves as being the winner. Now, when I say they have to be the winner, what I mean is they think that means you have to be in the inferior role, or it means that I will never be accountable to you, or your input is not necessary, or if you come against me, I'm going to crush you. That's what I mean when I say they have to win. And obviously, it's no way to manage a relationship in a healthy way at all. And in fact, the more that narcissistic person goes into that kind of direction, you can pretty much guarantee the relationship is going to struggle greatly. I mean, to the point to where when it's repetitive, it's just going to collapse altogether. Now, there are multiple indicators that show that the narcissist is in the I must win, you must lose mindset. Let's run through this, and I want you to kind of use this as a bit of a checklist to see how many times you've noticed these kinds of characteristics. For example, when the narcissist goes into this high win mindset, basically in that moment they are in a profoundly self-centered mindset. They cannot tune into you. Also, this is a strong illustration that they're playing the outer arrogance, internal insecurity game. They don't want anybody to see that they're actually feeling insecure, so they come off in a real condescending way as a compensation. On top of that, you can see that person that needs to win is a chronic gaslighter. They want to call into question your reasoning. And as a result of that, then they're going to have a lot of off the charts defensiveness. They'll put guilt trips on you. They'll put a lot of blame onto you and unfounded accusations that ever happened to you. In conflict, once the discussion gets heated, it's going to be accompanied by immediate coercion. There's a real strong insistence to their tone of voice, and they have zero interest in learning and knowing your perspective. They're going to give you the same old tired invalidations that you have with them time and time again. They're going to have a strong need to villainize you. They have no curiosity. Doesn't sound like a very good formula for success, does it? And I wonder, as you engage with those narcissistic individuals, you can think, yeah, they check off just about every one of those, and no wonder the relationship is going to collapse. Now, the hard part when you're dealing with something like this is you can think, my problem is sometimes I just can't walk away from this person. I mean, it may be someone that you work with and you see on an almost daily basis. It may be someone that you see inside the extended family whenever the family gets together. It may be someone you live with. It may be somebody that you co-parent with. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And so you think, well, I can't go on. I can't go to no contact. So what do I do? Well, let's keep in mind that even as you have to engage with these individuals, you can still arm yourself, if you will, with enough insight and awareness to know what you're dealing with so that you can make healthy adjustments on your end of the equation. So I want to walk you through some of the things that we know are going on the inside of that I must win kind of a person, and get a real good awareness of what's truly cooking on the inside of them, so that you can, like I say, have move forward with a real sense of keen awareness of who they are and what they're bringing. Now, first and foremost, when we talk about that narcissist who has to win over you, we're talking about somebody who inevitably, very predictably, has a deep history of their own toxic experiences. You don't learn this kind of thinking out of nowhere. There had to have been some modeling that came into their life very early on, whether it's from inside their immediate family or social circles or other kinds of things. And adding on top of that, not only did they have the modeling for toxic behavior, but they never really learned how to competently engage with that and work it through. They just kind of monkey see, monkey do. They just repeat what they've seen in front of them. On top of it, you can rest assured that this is a person who has a deep history of feeling misunderstood. The one who must win over you is also a chronic victim. Look how miserable the world has made my life. And therefore, they're thinking, well, I have to find someone, you're in front of me, to make me feel better about myself. And the way I feel better about myself is to pummel you with my opinions. Now, another thing that we know that is on the inside of the winner is these individuals are covering for a profound fear of being a loser. Now, notice I didn't say they don't want to lose. I mean, they don't want to lose, but it's deeper than that. They don't want to be a loser. And so when they refer to you or imply that you are the loser, you can be assured that there's a great deal of projection going on there because they have that fear that that's really what's going on inside of themselves. Now, on top of that, we also know that these individuals have a broken moral compass. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to say, this is just wrong to treat someone with disdain and then think, let's move on down the road now. We're going to have a good relationship. They don't get it. Their sense of morality and ethics is skewed in very much a wrong direction. They certainly don't have any kind of well-conceived plan for relationship success. In fact, when you sit down and talk with them about how we can do this in a better kind of way, you might as well be speaking in a foreign language to them because they just don't pick up on that at all. To them, a relationship with you is not really a relationship, but it's just an arrangement. They have the assumption that you're supposed to stay inside the lane that they have assigned to you. And if you don't, they're going to get you back in your lane and they're the one who gets to call the shot. So it's not a relationship. It's not a two-way street at all. And then we're also going to say that the person that must win over you is afraid of the soft characteristics, if you want to put it that way. And by that, I mean tenderness or patience or humility and empathy. And in their world, they're thinking, why would I want to be that way? Because those are the folks that get stepped on. I'm going to do the stepping. I'm not going to be the one that's stepped on. And so they consider the soft characteristics as equating to a loss of dominance and a loss of power, and they're not about to let go of that. And then also, the more they come at you with this I must win mentality, it illustrates an almost complete lack of analytical thinking. I mean, if you just break this down a little bit, you'll see that history shows that engaging like this may bring some short-term gain, if you will, but long-term it just perpetuates misery, but they don't get it. These are individuals, when they have to pummel you, when they have to come at you with this winner's attitude, meaning you're the loser, these are individuals who are carrying a great deal of unresolved wounds. They're wounded from the inside out. They've given up on any sense of optimism. Their dark side is very much dominant. In other words, they can't think, you and I have a difference, or we're not on the same page. Let's see if we can learn. That would be more optimistic. But it's like, no. I don't think optimistically. I'm a pessimist, and there's something wrong with you. We just have to figure out what it is so that I can figure out where to punch you. That's just pretty much where they are. And the more they're into this mindset of dominance over you, it illustrates that paranoia has completely taken over. You're out to get me, but if I can make the preemptive strike, then I'll make you feel like you're the lesser person up front, and so that way I'm ahead of the curve. So to the narcissist, when they come across with you with this attitude that says, I have to win, they reveal a certain philosophy of life, and that is The way for me to become a somebody is to force you to become a nobody. Now, any way you look at that, that just doesn't work. I mean, let that one soak in. Basically, when a person approaches you with that kind of attitude, it illustrates, plain and simple, they don't understand love. They've missed the point. The point is love wins. Decency wins. Civility wins. But they're thinking, now I don't know that they would articulate it out loud, but they're thinking, no, hate wins. Dominance wins. Insults become my building block for winning. Truth is irrelevant. Truth is whatever I need it to be. And I'm thinking, okay, that's where you're coming from. I don't relate to that. Nonetheless, it's important for you to see that's what's pushing along this attitude they bring. They want to make you think like you're the bad person, when in fact, no. This is what I mean when I say they carry a lot of chaos on the inside. So when they come at you with this invitation, if you will, to enter into the win-lose game, you're not going to win. Pull away from your need to counter-coerce. In other words, don't plead your case. Don't try to explain to them why they're wrong and you're right, because it'll just strengthen their resolve to pummel you even more so. As often as you can, get away from them. You don't need to be in the presence of someone who thinks and acts that way, and put as much distance as you can. Now, I mentioned just a minute ago, love wins. Do you know why love wins? Because people who love don't feel the need to win. That is a paradox that they absolutely don't get. Now, videos such as this can give you some good awareness of what you might be dealing with. If you haven't already done so, I would encourage you to hit that subscribe button, and we're going to keep more videos coming in your direction. If you have a need for therapy, and I know that many times when you're dealing with something like this, you think, I could use somebody that can help me unravel this, because the abuse and the trauma bonding that goes along with it can be rather deep. I've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com. They're a team of licensed professional therapists, and all you have to do is go through the link that we have below the video here, answer a few questions, and you get to select a therapist who can work it through with you. And it can be so refreshing for someone to say, I want to know you, and let's figure out how we can manage this in a way that's most healthy psychologically for your own benefit. Now, you know that on my website, I have access to my courses and webinars, and they're very extensive, and they have a very strong educational value to them. Please go onto the website and look at those under the tabs that we have there, along with my access to my articles, my podcast, my books. So we have lots of resources for you to look into. So I would encourage you to look into that. I win by making you lose. That's their philosophy. I'm now a somebody when you're a nobody. And that's just kind of a head scratcher. It's like, do people really believe that? And do people really think that way? And unfortunately, the answer is, oh yeah, they do. And once you see it, and then once you realize there's so much turmoil that's underneath the surface that's been unresolved, I'm hoping you can take an objective approach to them. In other words, don't get sucked in by the emotionality they want. And in doing so, you can figure out what your alternative of steadiness looks like. Because in the end, I'm hoping you can be someone who says, well, I'm a seeker of peace. That's what my goal is.